What's up, gamers? It's Above, and in today's video, I'll be showcasing an insane DPS mod that no one is talking about. Sometimes you hear about damage strats and they sound great on paper, but are hard to pull off because the setup is overly complicated. Well, throw that worry aside because this new DPS meta I'm showcasing in this video is unbelievably simple. Now, before we dive in, smack the like button, would ya? We'll be pumping out content like this in Witch Queen, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Today's video is centered around elemental wells. These mods continue to be criminally slept on in Season of the Lost, mostly because they require some in-depth build crafting to take advantage of them. But I've uncovered a mod that is incredibly powerful and maximizes your damage in the easiest way possible. Supreme Wellmaker is an elemental well mod that comes from the Wayfinder's Compass in the Helm. It costs 3 points and slots on any stasis piece of armor. This mod states that when casting your super, you spawn 3 stasis elemental wells. So what makes this mod so special? Let's start with the basics. Elemental well mods serve several purposes, from constant healing to providing damage bonuses like Font of Might does, which I consider to be one of the strongest mods in the game. It provides a 25% bonus to your weapon damage and stacks with every other damage source. The issue is finding a consistent way to proc this mod, which makes Font of Might less used than other DPS options. For Font of Might to work, you need to generate elemental wells that match your subclass and weapon element. So for example, if I want bonus damage on my threaded needle, I need to generate a void elemental well and be on a void subclass like Top Tree Nova Bomb. The only problem is light-based elemental wells are much more complicated to proc, as they require you to defeat enemies with either a grenade, melee ability, or rapid weapon kills, which is hard to do in most DPS scenarios. Supreme Wellmaker, however, is unbelievably easy to use. Simply pop a well or bubble with this mod equipped, and the stasis wells are produced automatically. Anyone using a stasis subclass will get a free 25% boost to their damage as long as they're using a stasis weapon like Reed's Regret and have Font of Might equipped. Lucky for us, Reed's is already one of the best heavy weapons in the game, and with this mod, it becomes the best heavy weapon in Destiny 2, hands down. You can take Font of Might and pair it with Elemental Time Dilation, another 3-point stasis mod which allows each copy of Font of Might to extend your damage bonus. Using 4 Font of Might mods will give you a 25% bonus for 30 seconds, which is equivalent to an entire Atheon damage phase. Now, it's probably not practical to run 4 Font of Mights in endgame content like GMs or Master Dungeons and Raids, since you'd be giving up Taking Charge and Protective Light for survivability, but with that said, you can still keep 2 Font of Might mods equipped and pair it with Elemental Time Dilation for a 15-second damage bonus that can be refreshed each time you pick up an elemental well. And it's not limited to just DPS scenarios either. Any super at any time will generate these wells, meaning you can self-proc a damage bonus if you equip Supreme Wellmaker while running a stasis subclass, or can benefit from your teammates popping a super for ad clear and get stasis empowerment for free. This may only apply to a handful of weapons right now, with some of the most notable on screen, but Witch Queen is right around the corner and will likely bring several new stasis weapons into the game. So the only downside of this build at the moment is the fact that you have to grind out trials for a Reed's Regret. With that said, even if you hate PvP, and I totally get that, I would recommend snagging this weapon, because based on the damage testing I've done, it will continue to compete for one of the best heavy weapons in the game, even with particle deconstruction out of the picture. To showcase what this mod can do, I did solo damage testing on Master Templar, comparing some of the best heavy weapons in the game against Reed's Regret. The first test put Reed's against Sleeper in a 20-second DPS window, taking advantage of all the seasonal buffs and debuffs, including particle deconstruction and focusing lens. This will give you an idea of just how good Reed's can be against what is widely considered the current DPS king. The second test will put Reed's head-to-head against the best heavy weapons in Destiny without using particle or focusing lens, to show that this DPS strat will hold up through Witch Queen and beyond. All of these tests were done over a 20-second damage phase, using double reserves. First up, we have Sleeper Simulant, taking advantage of Bubble, Divinity, Particle Deconstruction, and Focusing Lens. As I mentioned earlier, many people think this is the best heavy weapon in the game, and for players who aren't able to farm out a reeds, you'd be correct. In 20 seconds, Sleeper hit for just over 2.2 million damage, resulting in 110,271 DPS. This left us with just 2 shots in reserves, which means it wouldn't have lasted a full damage phase. Next up, we have Reed's Regret. My roll has Firing Line and Triple Tap, which is the recommended PvE god roll for this weapon. We stacked Bubble, Divinity, Particle Deconstruction, Firing Line, and most importantly, Font of Might, thanks to Supreme Wellmaker. In 20 seconds, Reed's hit for 2.46 million damage, resulting in 122,982 DPS, which easily surpasses Sleeper in a head-to-head comparison. This is a legendary weapon going against an exotic, and has 8 shots remaining compared to the 2 we had left with Sleeper. This doesn't even take Triple Tap into account, which would turn those 8 remaining shots into 11, leaving Sleeper in the dust. Now the crazy part is the fact that I'm missing Enhanced Battery, which would take my magazine to 7 with backup mag, allowing me to shoot 11 consecutive bullets without reloading. This means if you have the God rolled battery and column perks, your DPS will be even higher than what we showcased here. Not to mention the fact that this frees up your exotic slot. I'd use something like Wither Horde that can give me top tier ad clear, and even tack on additional passive damage to my reeds during DPS. This loadout is absolutely insane. And if you're curious about Threaded Needle, it's not even in the same ballpark, coming in at just over 81,000 DPS. Now you're probably wondering, will this DPS meta hold up in Witch Queen? And this all depends on artifact mods, of course, but Bungie stated in a live stream that they don't plan to release sandbox altering perks again, like they did with Particle Deconstruction and Breach and Clear. So to answer your question, if we're comparing these on a level playing field, then yes, reeds will still be at the top of the meta based on these damage tests, all because of Supreme Wellmaker's ease of use. When comparing reeds without Particle Deconstruction to Sleeper, Gjallarhorn, and Izanagi's Burden paired with Lasting Impression Wolfpack round rockets, reeds takes the #1 spot. As I noted earlier in the video, stacking Font of Might can be a pain in most DPS situations, but not for reeds. It's literally as simple as casting your super. For 99% of content, the go-to damage setup is a Bubble for its buff, a Well for its survivability, and Divinity for its debuff. Both the Well and Bubble can make you the elemental wells you need to dramatically crank up your damage. And remember, Witch Queen is going to bring a new arsenal of weapons with it, some of which will be stasis heavy weapons. So this damage meta will serve you well heading into the next major expansion. Well gamers, that concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. If you made it this far, tell me down in the comments what you're looking forward to most with Witch Queen. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace!